Hi, and welcome to the Monday video for Some Odd Girl. I'm going to be working with Mr. Octopus, the clear stamp set release for May, and I'm also using the sequins from the Odds and Ends shop, as well as the blue bamboo twine. And we are going to be making this really cool textured background, and it's just going to be really creatively messy. The items that you're going to be needing are a 4x6 photo glossy paper, and it doesn't have to be expensive. I just use Staples cheap. And you're also going to need some white cardstock for your card. And you're going to need some ink, and I'm using the Calypso Teal from Dilutions. And you're going to need a soft round brush as well as some water. And just to protect my area, because sometimes sprays become unpredictable over time where they're spraying in the direction, so I'm just going to grab some sheets of paper and put it around my desk area. So that's what you see me doing there. So I'm just going to get ready to get messy. And now I'm all set up and we're ready to start spraying. And before you start spraying, make sure that you shake up those bottles really good. And we're going to spray 3 times really close to the paper and then go over it again. And then we're going to just flip it over here a bit and then start to let it drip and then help it because we don't want it to settle into the paper. And when you're happy with the drips and the line of the drip, then just set it aside for a second so that it will dry up. And then I'm just going to clean up my space right now because I got a lot of ink there. And I'm giving it time to dry. And that's creating our first layer of texture. So now I'm going to get my brush and I'm going to get it really wet. And I'm just going to start pushing any leftover undried ink here. And of course I want it to be darker, so I'm going to spray areas. It's just random, it doesn't matter. The point is not to let it sit and dry. As soon as you spray it, start to move it, so it doesn't take away from the background that we created there. And it looks super light here on camera, but it's actually quite dark. It must be the lighting that's making it look really light. And it's pretty cool though because it creates this really awesome gradient. Pretty neat technique. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to waste some ink. Typically I would use a shipping tag and just pick up all that excess ink, but no, I wasted it. And I'm just going to get my heat gun and I'm going to start to dry my piece. And you have to be really careful because it is photo paper. So once you start to see it curl a bit, then it's pretty much done. Don't go any further. And I'm also going to place my twine, and I'm using double-sided Scotch tape. And I just find that it allows me to manipulate the twine better, and it gives me double, I guess, stability on the card, if I can say that, with the glue and the tape. It's not going to go anywhere now. And of course you can see how fussy I am, making sure that it's just right. I'll get it eventually. And now, because I am also picky about my corners, I'm going to round them off, but I mean you can leave them not rounded, that's up to you. And now I'm going to grab my Tombow glue because I was going to use my pink gun, but it failed on me. So I went to the Tombow glue and I'm now going to adhere my background onto my cardstock. And already it looks pretty cool, very vibrant. And I love all that texture. Awesome. So now I'm going to work on my sentiment, and I just have a little die cut and I'm working with the sentiment Lots of Hugs. And I'm just using some ink that is almost the same shade color as the spray that we used. And I'm going to use some dimensionals on the back of it because I'm going to be placing it over the bamboo twine, so I need to have a little bit of a lift on it. And I'm also just slightly inking the edges with the same blue ink that I stamped on. And here's our Mr. Octopus, and I added some more texture on him by adding little dots of opaque white on him. And I also did some paper piecing Instead of coloring in his hat, I just stamped on multicolored paper, and now I'm going to glue it on there. And I'm always a visual, so I'm playing where I'm placing things, but I figured it out there. So now I'm going to place the anchor. And the anchor is going to be a little bit tricky because we're on photo paper here. So I want it to be subtle first of all, and I'm going to be using a light gray ink. Memento ink, and you have to be careful because what's going to happen is your stamp is going to stick to the photo paper, so it's going to, as you're lifting, you're going to feel like a suction, and so you have to be really gentle when you're peeling it off. Don't pull it like a band-aid because you could rip your project. Just be gentle and patient, and it'll come off, and it's not going to ruin your stamp. And now we have our anchor in the background. It's nice and subtle, like it's been there all along in the water. And now I'm going to put some glue on my Mr. Octopus and get him in there. And now the fun part, I get to play with the sequins. Now this was a little bit tricky because I should have cleaned my tools before doing this, and I did not. My tweezers were really sticky, everything was sticky, and it was just a great big old sticky mess. But I did manage to get through it and got all my my bubbles on there. I use the sequins to represent bubbles. And you're going to start to see me fiddle there with some of them. See, I had to bring the scissors into play. And by the end, the scissors were getting sticky too. Tombow is seriously sticky. But I did get it. I succeeded. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed my card and my video, and I look forward to seeing your results. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.